Hello, hello. Welcome to another Atomic Cards Middle Earth SBG thing. I don't know. I never know what to call these. Is it a podcast? Is it a sit and chat? Is it a whatnot? Who knows?
Event recap.
Yeah,
like a
recap.
vlog, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's just a thing, really. Hi, I'm Tom.
Hello, Tom.
Hi.
I'm Lee.
Hi, Lee. What's your chosen subject?
Not winning at Lord of the Rings.
Daniel, what's your name?
My name's Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
Hello.
And who's left?
Hi, I'm Lian.
Lian, welcome.
Welcome, Lian.
Lian, what are we here to talk about today?
We're here to talk about a lovely little tournament that I ran over the course of this weekend just gone.
Nice.
Assuming, obviously, when this video will go up. But it was two separate tournaments over 2 days on the Saturday and the Sunday, with the Saturday being 800 points and the Sunday being a bit more of a chilled 600 pointer. So 4 rounds on the Saturday and 3 on the Sunday. And it was just a way for people to be able to come along and take part in either 2 days of full MESBG gaming, or just come along for one of them, whichever one took their fancy the most. But yeah, that was basically the idea of the 2 days. And the other thing, from a more sort of selfish point of view, myself and Henry, who also helped run the event, we both have run events before, and we've always said, you know, it's always fun to run them, but it's always quite nice to sort of play as well. So the reason why we did 2 separate ones was so that we could both play over the weekend. So one would play the Saturday, one would play the Sunday. And if we ended up with odd numbers, one of us could drop quite easily to make it even.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Cool. So obviously, Lian was running the events and participating when he could. Myself, I went to just for Sunday, just because of work commitments on a Saturday, couldn't get off. So I went along to the Sunday 600 pointer. Lee, did you go to both?
Yeah, I did both Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. And Daniel?
I only did the Sunday as well. Same as you.
Sunday as well. Nice. Cool. So before we get into like the nitty-gritty of how things went, I am going to shamelessly plug some stuff. So obviously, Atomic Cards, we have our shop and our website. The exciting fall of the Necromancer stuff is coming out this weekend. Should be this weekend when this video goes up. It's all up there now. You can order it. I'll dispatch it as soon as it's here. It'll be with you as soon as possible. It's cheaper than Games Workshop, and it supports us and helps us make more content. So do that. Thanks. Plug. I hate plugging.
Well, the more you can support independence, the better.
Yeah, and if you don't buy it from me, buy it from your local shop instead of buying it from Games Workshop. So like, Lian isn't going to buy it from us, but he's going to buy it from his local shop, who helped him run an event and help support that event.
Yeah.
And if you're the kind of person who sat at home going, my shop never does events, go and buy the stuff from them, and then they will do the events. But if they go, oh, no one ever buys Middle Earth stuff from me, so I'm not going to do an event, then they won't.
It is a vicious cycle. Unless you buy from them, they're not going to put on an event for it.
And they're not going to sell it.
No.
Anyone who sells Games Workshop stuff in their shop can get all of this Fall of Necromancer stuff for you. So just ask them nicely.
We'll just walk in and say, oi, give me Dol Guldur Ruins.
Oi, I want 4 of those. I want 12 like Lockie got. Give me 12 Dol Guldur Ruins.
I mean, that does look fantastic.
It does look fantastic. I'm very jealous.
Really
we
good.
will hopefully get I am getting some for myself, but we're going to build up and get on some battle reps and stuff. We're going to use some of the Legend of Legions in battle reports soon. Hopefully get it up over the next couple of weeks, and hopefully do a little bit of talking for the book. So let us know if there's any of the Legend of Legions that you heard about that you really want to see, and we'll get them up and do a little video. Hopefully using them and showing off some of their cool new skills. But yeah, Worcester War Games event, because that's where you hosted it, right, Lian?
So it was actually around the corner, but it was hosted by Worcester War Games, but it was in a hall just around the corner from the shop, which was the St. Swithin's Institute. But it's got a nice sized hall for what we wanted to do. And with the size of player base that we had attending, it was a decent size to have space, have the boards, have the mats out, and also have space to put all your stuff around you as well. So it's really nice, and it has a little kitchen area. So we were able to make food while we were there as well. And more importantly, a stage so that I can actually be taller than someone other than just Lee.
Oh, me.
But no, it was really good.
Just in case anyone doesn't know, whereabouts in the UK is Worcester?
So Worcester is just south of Birmingham. It's about sort of 3/4 of an hour away from Brum. So it's nice and easily sort of centrally located, quite easy to get to from most public services and also most motorways as well. You can come straight down to it. So and easily accessible from sort of Gloucestershire area, Wales as well. So it's a nice area for people to access.
And Swindon.
And Swindon, Wiltshire. Good place from Wiltshire.
And do you run events often, just in case anyone wanted to come to one in the future?
Yeah, we're semi-regular. Henry used to run a lot more of them, and I've now joined him as part of the, I suppose, the Worcester MESBG TO team, if you want to call it that. And I've run this weekend's one, but he's run several before. But we're hoping to run more over the course of next year, and we've got one coming up in February. We've got one in August, and then we've got another one in October, and that's all next year. But the February one is hopefully the 12th and the 13th of February. It's provisional dates, but as long as we can get the hall for those 2 days, then we'll be doing that. And we'll be running it in the same style that we did the previous one. So it's going to be 2 one-day events for this one. And then we're looking at the other 2 and how we're going to run those. Maybe they might be a 2-day event as one event, but this one's going to be 2 one-day events.
That's going to be a busy couple of months for us then, because we're hosting an event at the end of January, in the middle of January rather. Then you've got Into the West in Cardiff, which is fairly local.
Yeah.
Then you've got you guys in the middle of February. Then I believe there's a Firestorm Games in Swindon are hosting one at the end of February as well. So in those first 2 months of next year, we're going to have like 4 fairly juicy events. So that's going to be quite fun.
Hoping to get to the Into the West one as well. So tickets go up, I think, on Friday this week.
I think so, yeah. Soon.
Yeah. 30th, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Saturday. 30th.
Yeah, Saturday 30th, is it?
Oh, okay.
Not sure I'm going to be able to make it, but I'm going to grab a ticket anyway, just in case, and we'll just pass it on if I end up cancelling.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Sweet. So Saturday event was 800 points.
Yep.
And this
4
was
rounds.
billed as your like spicy event.
Yeah, there was no restrictions on this. I was actually spent most of the months sort of leading up to it going, right, okay, who's going to bring Schmaug? 800 points. You could legitimately bring him, and no one brought Schmaug. So no one took my bait, no one bit. So
that might be because how expensive he is in pound monies.
Yeah, that is true. There are a few people that do own him though. So
yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There is. And also no restrictions on max model count either, right? So there wasn't like a Goblin Town army with like 150 bazillion models.
No, there wasn't.
Either.
No, I couldn't make it Saturday.
I was really surprised. No one sort of went all out sort of beard on it. People did go, quite filthy with some of the lists. Quite strong. There was some really strong lists in the room.
How many Angmar lists were there?
There was 3.
3. Was it 3?
I only saw 3. Oh right, okay. Oh yeah, of course. There was the.
We were talking about this in the car on the way down. Way back.
Because there were 3 Gulliver lists and 1 without, wasn't there?
Right, that was it then. Yeah, it
was. I know Scott had it. I played Scott, and then I played the guy. I can't remember. I've played now. I can't work it out. But there was definitely 4 because I played 2 of them, and I knew Scott had the 3rd, and then somebody else had the 4th. But I definitely know there was 4.
You had 20 players.
20, yeah.
20 players and 4 Angmar lists.
It was actually only 18.
Oh, geez.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
18 players and four Angmar
Or
lists.
Angmars.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm really sad that I couldn't make it Saturday. He lied. So
There was a guy who brought 2 Mumaks as well.
There's a guy who brought 2 Mimics and a guy who brought a Balrog and 20 Dwellers in the Dark or whatever it was.
Not quite 20, but yeah.
Yeah. Lee, you're the one who went to the Saturday event. I think me and Daniel both missed it, didn't we?
Yeah.
So how did you get on with your 800 points? What did you take and how did you do?
So as people would see on the channel before, I think I had a couple of warm-up games that was on the channel. So I took Army of Iron Hills with Erebor Acclaimed ally. So it was Dane on Pig, 17 lads with Spear and Shield, one with Banner, the Ballista, and then Thorin on Go with about 8 more lads, and then 2 Go Riders. Yellow Alliance, so I lost all like the juicy stuff of like Master of Battle and War Bands coming in, and then Thorin losing his banner effect. So I lost some of that, but got the Ballista. So it was just, I've only ever used it. I haven't actually used it that often for how much of an expensive model it is. So I thought, let's take it to that event. It would be like the first big event ever using it, and then just see how it goes. My theory was, being 800 points, it'd be better because people can't spread out their armies as much. So I should have better time on target. Didn't work out that way at all. It was bad. It was a bad choice to take. Game 1, it was great. Do you want me to go over them briefly, or how do you want me to do this?
What did you face in each game and how did it go?
All right, yeah. So game 1, I had Corsairs. He had, oh god, like 60 models, if I remember rightly. I had to kill like 35, I think, maybe, to break him. He had a ridiculous amount of models. And it was, trying to think of the mission, the 3 objectives, 1 in the middle, 2, 1 left, 1 right. More points for getting hold of the middle one. The middle objective in our board was in the trees, which was hilarious. But yeah, anyway, so he had lots of models. So the Ballista was going to have a great time, and it did, because he couldn't split up because he had to deploy in each corner. So he was all really bunched up. The Ballista killed, if I remember rightly, at least 15 troops.
Oh, wow.
All the way in. But he had a really cool list. He had like loads of Reavers, which are great because like my normal plan against Corsairs is break them and they'll run away. But his Reavers don't, because they go crazy and then pass their courage test. So that worked. But yeah, so the Ballista did work, made them split up, and then eventually just like slowly swarmed onto the objectives. The thing that was interesting about that game was Thorin charged his leader, Dalamir, straight away in the first turn of combat. Didn't knock him down. We both struck up. I rolled a 10, he rolled a 10. Well, went to fight 10. I rolled a 4 high. He rolled a 3 high. He spent his last point of might to might it up, which meant me spending my last point of might to might it up. But because I won the fight, I killed him. He had, I think, 5 dice in that fight. I only had 4. And we both rolled like max 4 high. It was awful. But it did mean then that his leader was dead. And yeah, just slowly mocked up. Game 2 was against Angmar. This was a Gullivar version. Again, just hoping that the Ballista's going to do work. It hit genuinely once the entire game, and he just did the usual, scattered it onto some other objective target that wasn't worth it. This one, he was a bit too aggressive with Gullivar, chucked him a bit too far forwards because it was the relic in the middle. You had to go get the relic. So basically, that's the one. Seize the prize. So I marched Dane, the goats, and Thorin straight ahead. Pitt managed to pick it up the next turn, 3rd turn, run away from it. But then, yeah, he chucked Gullivar in a bit too hard, a bit too quick, and I struck up with Thorin and about 8 lads and just killed it in one go because he can't strike up. He did heroic defense, but when you're rolling like 12 dice, you're going to get 6s and kill it. And I did just kill it in one go. But then typical Angmar paralyzing Dane, who got the relic at this point, constantly paralyzing me over and over and over and over and over, but slowly managed to whittle him out and beat him there. Again, just the stubbornness of Dwarf not dying and slowly killing his troops.
I have to put in an apology here for Lee, because at the start of this game, the guy had never actually played against the Ballista before. And I walked over and I started talking about how, oh yeah, you avoid being hit by the Ballista by having someone within range 3 of it the whole time. And then I realised that I'd told his opponent how to.
So like, I had it a couple of times. Like, how does the ballista work? So you describe how it works, and you give them the book and go, it works like this. It can do this. It can do that. Don't actually say to them, just leave a guy next to the target so you scatter onto that target. They can figure that bit out on their own. But no, Lian just came over and was like, yeah. So this is how you beat Lee's list. And this was at table one, game 2, and I'm like, dude. But yeah,
it didn't help, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And for those that don't, me and Lian know each other very well, so we had a giggle
Do
at the top
you?
table throughout.
I'm
it was a good
shocked.
But yeah, so I managed to win that game in the end. But Angmar, man, oh, they're so good. They're so good. And in
If
game
you'd like to
Probably
make
why
an
there were
Angmar
4
army, there's a
lists,
new Witch
yeah.
King model on horse coming out. It's now available
I
from
know.
toycars.co.uk.
It's gonna get even worse. It's gonna get even worse. Game 3 was a great game. I can't remember his name, but it ended in a 6-all draw. It was Fog of War. We love Fog of War. We love it.
We do love Fog of War.
I deployed wrong in this. I tried to bluff that I was going for 1 terrain in his piece, in his half. Didn't get the bluff right. Just completely screwed it. But I had a point where I was killing all of his lads really, really fast. His Gulliver was coming through on me. But I was rinsing him so quick. I was getting to that dangerous point where I'm going to kill him too fast and not actually win the game. So I decided I'll chuck foreign in the middle a bit on his go, and I'm going to hurt combat, back off, and go to the objective piece, then end the game and win. Foreign lost that combat, lost his go, and is now stuck in the middle of the board, and I can't get to that terrain piece anymore. So it was a real squirrely fight between the both of us, and eventually we both got the draw. But it was a really close game. Again, Angmar doing Angmar things just made it really close. And I really felt, again, the ballista, because he had Gulliver again, I really felt that the ballista again, I hit once all game, and I was only because I mited that hit, and then on the scatter I rolled a 1. If I kill Gulliver on the way in, I had 4 shots at it on the way in. Not one thing scratched it. If I kill it, completely different game.
And yet, when I play against it, I do things like bring a Witch King on Fell Beast, and you go, Fell Beast is dead.
I know.
Come on, bam,
genuinely,
gone.
I felt quite confident. I'm like, yeah, I could take that 1 ballista hit. Like, it's only defense 5. I'm needing 3s to kill it. And yeah, just not working. And again, I would really have preferred to have Dwalin and some extra lads in that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, 6-all draw. So at that point, I'm 2 wins and 1 draw. And I'm like, hello, all this moaning about the ballista, still doing all right. And that again was at top table. So that was the 2nd time in a row that I'm at top table. So then it comes down to the last game, 2 wins, 1 draw, and I'm thinking, oh, something special can happen here. Something special could happen. Because I think only 1 person at that point was on 3-0, if I remember rightly. Of course, I played him in the final, and that happened to be Scott's first game opponent, who he lost to. So Scott was doing a good submarine impression. And yeah, that game went badly. Day fatigue of playing 800-point games definitely set in that game. It was a mountain deployment.
Hold ground.
That was it. So the ballista, I got unlucky with deployment. Ballista came in on its own. Dane and Thorin came in next to each other, and he deployed his big old warband of elves in one corner with Galadriel. I forgot to shoot with my ballista the turn it came on. Very first turn, forgot to shoot with it. He also forgot I could do that, so he didn't cast blinding light. So we kind of fluffed that a little bit. So we had a little talk amongst ourselves, and we managed to we sorted it out. We came to the agreement of, yes, you can still shoot, but I'm going to cast my spell. Fair enough. But because he had such a big deployment of troops, it meant I could still get the shot on one of the edges and then get a shot off. But anyway, it was irrelevant. We fluffed it completely. And then we just marched into the middle. But again, his Galadriel like transfixing Dane once when I marched to get up quite close, just meant that he got there slightly before I did. But I actually had more bodies in than he did, weirdly. But his fight 5 with the banner with the rerolls just kept pushing me back and back and back. And he did start killing my my Iron Hills, which I was surprised at, because he's strength 3s and 6s by 4s, because he was Rohan Rohan and elves. But yeah, he just kept winning the fights with the banner 5-5 and then just killing me.
With enough fights, roll enough dice, you'll eventually kill some stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I lost resources getting there on the way in for marching. And then I think it was actually like deployment coming where I want. I had to use a couple of might. So I was down on resources. And yeah, he just slowly whittled me down. But I do generally think I didn't like throw the game because he didn't play it properly either. But I feel like if we'd have played each other game 2, that same mission had been completely different. I do think the fatigue really did hit me, but it hit him as well. You could tell it did. We were both quite tired, and he got the win. And to be fair, he deserved it. He played the final game well. He made no mistakes after we both made that mistake initially. He made none. He played a really tight game, did everything he needed to do, placed things where he needed to place. So he deserved it. So I couldn't really grumble at that. So I lost that game, which meant I was 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, and that was it. The game at tournament ends. And because of the way, obviously I had 2 wins and a draw, and then I lost, I didn't have that 3rd win. It chucked me quite far back down on the rankings. So I came 6th in the end. Whereas if I'd have won it, I'd have won the whole thing because I had no losses. So it's a very like swingy sort of situation. I think when we got to near the end of that game, I was like, I think a draw probably benefits me more. So I was trying to go for the draw, if not for the win, but I just couldn't pull it out. So I ended up coming 6th. But can't grumble. Like, I didn't think I was going to do that well. Genuinely, I didn't. Whenever I go to these events, I always try and go for like an average, like 2-2. Anything else is a bonus. I did well, and then it got to the end of the prizes and things, and got most sporting day 1, which I've never had one of those things before.
Even if you run, even despite bringing everyone's least favorite model in the game.
Well, this is it. I had the ballista, and people moan about it, but I must have made it fun for people. I must have made it memorable. So
just because you didn't kill anything with it in the other games.
That's true. That is true. Maybe
you smiled about the fact that it was awful for the entire weekend.
Yeah, maybe that's a good point. I didn't think of it like that. But yeah, it's nice. Like Lian said at the end as well, it is like he said, it's like one of the better ones to win is because your own opponents have voted for you.
Yeah.
So you've made it a fun day, which at the end of the day is the main thing, to have fun. So that was good. I also chucked up my army for the best painted competition at lunch. Didn't think I was going to win again because I was quite late submitting my army to that because our game ran late. And came back, and then again at the end I found out that there was a tie for the best painted day 1 by 3 people. And then it would come down to, as Lian said, him and Henry at the beginning would be the deciding vote. So they narrowed it down to me and Luke.
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah.
So me and Luke. So yeah, us 2 tied, and then I think you got an independent person come in randomly, didn't you? Walking around,
Yeah.
and then they made the vote.
Yeah.
On the winner. Sadly, wasn't me, but I got there. So, I was chuffed about that because that was my Iron Hills that I'd repainted. So I was really chuffed that people must have thought I'd done a good job because I did spend a lot of time repainting them. So it was validation of the repaint. So I had a great day.
It's like that's a solid thing. Like a top 10, well, top half finish in the top of most best painted and winning most sporting. That's a strong all-round weekend, that is it.
Yeah, and I was on table 1 for 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
And did you have fun?
Oh, I had a great day. Generally,
that's all right, isn't it? You see,
like the game I drew was such a good game. The only one I didn't really enjoy was like the final game in the final. And I think that was because like halfway through, when you're in the final game, your opponent starts going, oh, hang on a minute, you moved an extra inch here, or like picking up little things. And I was like, I got the point, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm actually like in a final of this thing, like it's now getting a bit sweaty.
Yeah.
Where none of the games before that were that way. We were just like playing the game, we were enjoying it, and it didn't cross my mind at that point that we were doing well. So it was only really that last game where I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is actually a competition. if that makes sense. Like that's not like having a dig at my opponent. That's not having a dig at him. It was just very much like, oh, now I'm aware that we're actually playing to win this thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're at the sharp end of it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I had a great day. All the opponents were really nice. And like Lian ran it really well. Nothing to complain about. The hall was amazing. Brilliant. Very happy.
Nice.
Cool.
Just quickly, Lian, do you have, because it was Shane, Lee's last opponent, wasn't it, who won the event?
Yes, it was.
Would you mind quickly, if you possible, sharing his list with us? Just so everyone knows kind of. Give us some filth. What is filth?
Some filth. To be fair though, I don't think it's actually that filthy, but I will go through it. So in the 800 point list, we had Galadriel, Lady of Light, leading it from the Lothlorien list.
So not Lady of Light then.
Wow, no, not Lady of Light.
Okay,
no.
right, okay.
I like calling her Lady of Light. So yeah, Lothlorien Galadriel. She had 2 guards of the Galadrim court, and she had 14 wood elves with wood elf spear with her. Warband 2, we had Haldir in armor and elf bow, so it's not the heavy armored dude. And then he had 7 wood elves with bow with him, 4 wood elves with bow and spear, 1 with just spear, 1 with spear and banner, and 2 just basic wood elves. And then Warband 3, who was actually the overall leader for the army, was Theoden with heavy armor, shield, and armored horse, 4 riders of Rohan, 5 warriors with bow, 7 warriors with just shield, 1 Rohan Royal Guard, and 1 Rohan Royal Guard with throwing spear. That's it.
It's just an awful lot of dudes.
Lot of guys.
Just an awful lot of dudes.
5 dudes.
And the good thing is you don't have to worry about Galadriel being the highest tier because you've got Theoden as your highest tier, so you don't have to worry about Galadriel having to go up for Contest of Champions or something silly like that.
Yeah.
And you've got the magic there. You've got the magic toolbox of blinding light, transfixes, and then it's great. Just so many bodies, and then elf shooting, which would have done great against Angmar throughout the day, I'm sure.
And everything's really high courage, or you've got the Rohan Royal Guard with bodyguard, and you've got spears everywhere. So it's a solid.
As we've said so many times before in this game, like numbers are key. Numbers, mobility, high fight. If you've got them in the combination of them, you're sorted. Lots of might helps, but nice, cool,
solid list.
Awesome. We didn't actually talk about him too much, but Scott, our darling friend Scott over from SW Miniatures, he came with us, or he went in the car with you on Saturday, came with us again on Sunday. And he came second at the event.
He did
on Saturday.
Yeah.
He was also tied with you guys for best painting.
He was.
Yeah. And he took his Angmar, which we've seen a few times on this channel now, with Gullivar, Witch King, a couple of Arrow Whites, and then some orcs.
He had a great day. Like I said briefly, he lost his first game to the eventual winner.
Yeah.
And then he fought his way back up and won all 3 games on the trot. I think his second game, he smashed the guy 12-0.
I think he won all 3, 10, 12-0.
12
yeah,
nil.
I think he,
On all
I
of them,
think he did.
12-0.
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah.
So yeah, he did very well. And then that jumped him up to second. He did very well.
Cool. Nice one. So Sunday.
Sunday.
Did you not play on? Hold on. Did you not play on Saturday, Lian?
No, I actually have ended up not playing at all.
Because Liam was meant to play on the Sunday,
Yeah.
but then someone dropped out last minute, right?
Ross Hughes sadly had to leave us on that day, couldn't come on, and so I had to drop out to make the numbers back to even again. So, but in the end, actually, to be fair, I'm quite glad I didn't get to play. I quite enjoyed running the 2 days. It was quite fun. But
you were really good at bringing me tea.
Yeah, apparently really good tea, good at making tea. Apparently, I found out.
I really like running events because you just get to hang around. Like you still get to hang out with your mates, and you get to see all the games.
Yeah.
And there's nearly always every round one game that's actually really interesting to watch, like a really good matchup.
Yeah.
So Sunday 600 points.
Yep. 600
the
points
casual
with
fun
3
day.
rounds. Yeah.
So
That's what it was billed as. Yeah.
Yeah. All 3 of us went to this one, didn't we?
Yeah, we were all there. Yeah, and Scott as well. Scott came
as well. I forgot to mention, we had a chat with the Alliance of Noobs and Men about some lists before we went to this. I've only just remembered. Didn't we? You guys did like a nice little video over on the SW Miniatures channel.
We did, yes. Scott and I spoke to Sean and Liam of Alliance of Noobs and Men fame. They rated a fair handful of the lists. They really had nothing bad to say. It was pretty good, actually. I don't know if the video's gone up yet. I haven't seen.
It might be up at this point. It might not. Who knows? Go and look at their channel. Find out if it's not up there. Call them all Sheilas. That's Aussie for something, in it. I don't know.
Yeah. Find Sean on Instagram and hassle him.
2 banner minis. That's what his thing is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just ask him for more
tell him
puppies.
to hurry up.
Yeah.
We need more dog content. Yeah.
More dog content. So anyway, the reason I just remembered that is because I used a completely different list to what I told him I was going to use, because I realised that the list I told you I was going to use isn't painted, so I shouldn't take that. So instead, I took my fiefdoms, 600 points. So I had Imrahil as my leader on an armoured horse with a lance. 3 Knights of Damaroth on armoured horses with lancers. I had 4 clansmen of Lamadon and 6 men at arms of the Lamroth. Then I had Angbor. He had 4 clansmen and 6 men at arms. And then I had Dwin here and 10 Black Reveal archers. 3 of them had spears. So basically, clansmen, like 8 clansmen with 12 pikes behind it. So if I lost a couple of clansmen to shooting, I still had full pike support. And then Dwin here, 10 Black Reveal archers. And then Imrahil a couple of knights just to really hit someone in the face. What did you bring
lists
to?
Are just beautiful, aren't they? Really, they're just such a wonderful list.
It's great, and they're really fun. Yeah, super fun list for the fun day. I just haven't used them.
I think only half the people got the memo. Some people took fun lists. They did.
Lee, talking about fun lists. What did you bring?
I brought hobbits.
Yeah.
Something decidedly less sweaty than Anhil's Ballista. Yeah, I thought I'd bring hobbits. First time I've ever used them. I used them literally one game before against Jamie, little practice game. And yeah, they're great fun. Traps everywhere. They're great fun. I didn't do very well, but I had fun, and each game was fun, interesting, and different. You know, hobbits are a very interesting army to play because you've got a lot of disadvantages going into it, which make it really fun to overcome. And yeah, everyone loves mowing down hobbits, right? Like Camels game 1, like impact hits, which is literally chugga. Like, it was great.
The telling thing about Sunday was on Saturday there were 4 Angmar lists, and on Sunday there were 3 Hobbit lists.
Yeah. 3 Hobbit lists.
Yeah. That was the difference between the 2 days.
And how many Angmar lists on Sunday?
Just one.
There was
just one person. Just one person brought Angmar. Yeah.
Guess who that was?
Yeah, we all knew it was a fun day.
Daniel, what did you bring to the fun day?
I brought a really fun army to the fun day.
What did you bring?
I took the Grey Company, Legendary
Who
Legion.
did so well that you threw them on the floor.
Oh. Yeah, I'd finished game 1. We were sat down. Lian comes around and says, "Oh, hey guys, if you want to put your models up for best painted, put them up on table 1." So I go, "Okay, cool, I'll do that." I put all the models on a booklet that I was using to carry them up, and then proceed to throw them on the floor. Most of them broke, which was just wonderful. But Lian kindly lent me some super glue and some blue tack, and yeah.
It's such a shame because they are amazing. Like the paint jobs are just incredible.
I'm amazed people think so. I can't stress this enough. I put very little effort into
and I hate that because I have some armies that I spent absolutely ages on and they look nowhere near as good.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't warrant spending more than an hour on a miniature. So it just who knows?
There's
Maybe
going
that'll
to be some
change.
triggered people in the class.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm really good at painting. Yeah. There we go.
So that's what the three of us took. Lian, you were going to bring your Halls of Thranduil. Well, not yours, your
my
wife's?
wife's. Yeah. Laura's. Yeah, she wanted me to. I was umming and ahhing over to what to take for the 600 points, and I've used Isengard and Rohan quite a lot, and I wanted to take something a bit different. So she said, "Oh, why don't you take mine?" I was like, "Yeah, okay, that's cool. Yeah, Halls of Thranduil list." So I started doing the Halls of the list on the Saturday, and yeah, it was going to be Thranduil. It was going to be Toriel, some Mirkwood about 12 Mirkwood Rangers, some Palace Guard on foot, some Mirkwood Cavalry, and just some basic guys on foot as well. Just, a nice bit of a mix of everything, really. Some good, decent shooting, spear supports, high fight value. Thranduil with Palace Guard is just obscene anyway. And he was on the Elk as well. So, he was a proper steamroller. So,
Nice.
That was going to be my list, but yeah.
That would have been really fun to watch happen against the Hobbits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the chance of matching up against Hobbits would have been quite high, given there were 3 Hobbit lists.
Yeah. I mean,
Actually,
2 of the Hobbit lists got each other in the first round.
Yeah.
But one of them had Elisar thrown in, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's kind of unfair, right?
Yeah. So, game 1, Sunday, breakthrough.
Yep.
Yes.
Breakthrough. So
Breakthrough
if you don't know, control your home, middle objectives, far one, get bonus points for that one, some points for this one, not very many for holding that one. Basically, I'm playing my fiefdoms against Azog, a Gundabad troll, Thimble, Hunter Orcs, Gundabad Orcs. Fortunately, because it's breakthrough, he's kind of got to split up and cover both flanks. And I went, great, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to go straight for one of them. So I left my Black Reveal Archers at the back, put everything else opposite his Hunter Orcs and Thimble. And then there's a massive building in the middle, basically. So that Azog and the troll had to go all the way around the building. And they had to go around the back, because if they came around the front, they were just going to get lit up by Dwin here. So they couldn't really come straight at me, because I don't care who you are. Dwin here in 10 Black Reveal Archers with no line of sight blocking between you and them is going to kill you. So yeah, did that. Broke him by the time Azog got to him, basically. Azog rolled absolutely awful the entire game. Brought him down. That was about it, really. There wasn't much to say. I sent my knights off for the other objectives. If I'd had one more turn, I'd have got a Knight of the Lamroth onto a distant objective, but I didn't. So 7-1 win it ended up being. He got a point he had his home objective still. He had one lonely Hunter Orc sat there. I had 2 Knights of the Lamroth bearing down on him. I was getting that objective off him, basically. But yeah, he didn't take the bait because I left that Knight of the Lamroth within charge range and kind of mentioned that he could charge it if he wanted to, but it would come off the objective. But it didn't do that because he's not that stupid. But, I thought I'd try it, get that extra VP point. So yeah, 7-1, first game. Lee.
Yeah.
How did your game
go? I
go?
had, again, like I said a minute ago, it was against camels. So it was not good. And also I can't deploy my traps where I want because the board edge is 24. So they're all basically on my half. Ambush is great for me in this because I can pop up on a terrain piece, which is next to an objective or his home objective, which is great. But I think I chose the wrong objective to go for. I let Merry be exposed, and he heroic combated into Merry and killed Merry like super early with Suladan. That hurt. So I was back against it quite quickly. And yeah, camels. I think one camel, sure, afterwards we were talking about it, I'm sure he killed 8 hobbits chuggering, and then he hit a brick wall. That was it. It was the Mahud King on camel. Went chugga, eventually killed 8 on going all the way through them, and then fell on a trap and then fell off his camel, which was hilarious. But yeah, camels, man, really good. Really good. And my shooting was terrible that game. I couldn't roll all that day, really. I couldn't roll dice. But that's the first time I'm going to mention it. And I'm not going to do it again.
Okay, I was going to say, you said it was the first time you were going to mention
Mm.
Or will I?
But yeah,
no,
you
it's
guys
great
want to
game.
see our group chat? It's just full of Lee saying, "Oh, really bad."
it.
Every day, every day.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
when he's not rolling dice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good fun. What about you, Daniel?
My game one was excellent. I played against Chris Evans with his he had Suladan, a king, and the Shadow Lord,
Captain
which
America.
is great which is great because my army really doesn't want to engage in combat until I've got rid of some key threats. Sort of a skirmishing army, which I can't really do with Shadow Lord on the table very well. So I thought, bugger it, let's go right up to the half line, deploy right in each other's faces and just bash each other until the timer runs out. Needless to say, the game was over in about an hour. Yeah, it didn't work out the way I was hoping. It was an exceptionally fun game, but all of my poor models got beaten up and ended up being an 11-1 loss.
Because he had Serpent Hood and Mordor together, didn't he?
Yes, yeah. So he had a load of Serpent Riders, load of a Bracken Guard, plenty of bows and spears, and then he had a Shadow Lord with Morannons
and a couple of Black Numenorians.
Yeah, so it was a really, really tidy list, really, really well balanced.
That's a sweaty list.
He did really well. Yeah, he got right to the end. Yeah.
Spoilers.
Well, maybe not, but like that's how you do it, right?
That's how I'd want to do it, I think. Yeah.
It basically gives all your Rannans fight for either via the Black Numenorians or the Serpent Guard we had on foot. Or you get like Black Numenorians backing up a Bracken Guard, and like that's gonna kill stuff. Basically. But yeah. There was a couple of things that I potentially didn't necessarily agree with in there, because like he's got a Harrod King just on foot with no upgrades.
Needed a horse, really.
Yeah, you give him a horse and a war spear. That thing's an absolute monster. I know that model's fairly hard to come by at the moment.
Yeah, it could just be that.
Yeah, so
I mean, that's most likely it. Yeah.
I've got 3 if anyone's in the market.
I am in the market. Save one for me.
They're all mine, but yeah. So yeah, game 2 was
So Lee
Storm the Camp. Storm the
Lee
Camp, because we let Lee roll a dice. And
big mistake.
As Lee has mentioned, his dice rolling's awful. And when you let Lee roll a dice, you get Storm the Camp at 600 points. And what that means is you get to run across a board for like 2 hours.
Yep.
I actually had one of the tightest games of MESBG I've had in a very long time. For Storm the Camp, I was playing against Iron Hillsy Reclaimediness. There was Dane, he was on a pig. There was 3 dudes on goats. There was a bunch of Iron Hills dudes. There was Gloin in like full heavy armoriness, and Dwalin in like full heavy armoriness. I don't really know. I don't know dwarfs that well. I just know the ones Lee beats me with all the time.
It's the champions of Erebor.
Cool. Thanks. I don't know. Dwarfs. And he had 6 crossbows. So he's got 6 Iron Hills crossbows. I've got Dwinir and Twen Black Root Vale archers. Neither of us really wanted to go for it, but then we were like, I mean, let's at least get up to 25 inches away from each other and then start doing this. So we kind of did. And then it was like this awkward little thing. There was a nice little building, and maybe he messed up because he put his crossbows on one flank. So I just went to the other one, put the building between us. So I got Imrahil and the Knights into some dudes on that flank, and then plugged the like gaps around the building with the clansmen and the pikes. So he was still shooting into my pikes, but he couldn't get anything out of that building. And it was actually much closer to his side of the board than mine, which is what I would always say about when you're fighting dwarfs on Storm the Camp or anything like that, is to try and like plug them up somewhere in the middle because it's going to take them ages to get across the table anyway. I finally got some open shots to the back of their archers. So I did the thing where you do the might, call a heroic shoot, and you get mass re-rolls to everything basically. Dropped 5 of his 6 Iron Hills crossbowmen in one turn. At which point he was like, "Okay, I'm going to run away." Imri Hill heroic combated off into the camp with a couple of knights, and at that point he had 2 choices: he either went back and tried to kill Imri Hill, or he came forward and tried to get my camp. He came forward to try and like break me and get my camp, but then I killed his goats with shooting, and Dane had already lost his pig, and yeah, so basically just about won, but we had 2 minutes left on the clock, and Imri Hill was just made it to the camp, and it was all very tight. But I think it ended up being like it was a really tight game, but it ended up in an 8-1 win because I got the camp and he didn't. But he was like 1 turn off getting my camp, and I just got that camp, and yeah. But yeah, 8-1 it ended up in. So 7-1 then 8-1. Feeling all right.
Nice.
Lee, game 2. Storming the camp.
I had one of the newer players, I think, in the event. He lost his first game. I can't remember his name. I'm terrible with name. Ben. Sorry, Ben. Apologies. He had Rohan, Legendary Legion. He actually accompanied us to lunch. So
which makes it worse, you can't remember his name.
I know.
And he was like the nicest guy as well.
Yeah,
he was a lovely guy. Yeah.
Like a really, really nice chap.
Yeah. So actually at lunch we had a bit of a chat with him and like, you know, some do's and don'ts when playing as Rohan. So it was quite funny that I got him for my second game. So it was quite nice though, because I could talk through some things that I'd said at lunch with him and like put it into practice. So it was more like, it wasn't so much like a game, it was more like we were playing, but you know, we were talking through things, and you can do this and you can do that. Like at this I get nothing from like trying to try hard winning this game. Like, you know, let's try and nurture like a nice bloke into the hobby a bit more. Saying that, I put a load of traps around his camp. And,
hi, welcome to the hobby.
Because he had all mounted Rohan, so you know, I don't know if you go to the trap on a 4-up, they're losing their horse. But we had a bit of a chat about it. It's like, it's not as bad as you think. You just yeet a guy through a little channel and then just go through that channel. That's what he did. So he started coming towards me to shoot me with his bows, and then he charged forward, put a lot of pressure on my camp. But then my ambushing warband of 10 sheriffs popped on where they wanted, super near his camp, behind my traps, and then yeah, just slowly moved across. He left a couple of dudes back there, but you know, 10 sheriffs and a hero is going to be more than just 4 warriors of Rohan. So it was up against it. So yeah, I won that in the end. Although again, dice were awful.
I thought you said you weren't going to talk about that again.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, but it's so bad. Like I genuinely, right, had 5 turns of shooting Aemir with 16 bow shots. I did 1 wound. Like mental. But we had a good giggle about it.
I did 3 wounds on Dane in 1 turn.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those things. But you know, shooting happens and stuff like that. And it was a good example to talk to him about it. Like, you know, like there's laws of probability and everything in this game, but you know, they don't work sometimes.
Twin his a good boy.
We had a good giggle. So yeah, it was fun. Really good game. A really nice guy. Really nice guy.
Nice. And Daniel.
My game 2 was exceptionally fun. I played against Ollie Martin. It was Tom's round 1 opponent with Azog and a troll, and a handful of hunter orcs and some Gunda lads, and lovely list. Storm the Camp for me was an easy choice to make. We'd managed to determine that the camps where they were on the board, my one had a forest within 12 of my corner, and my whole army gets woodland creature. So I sat in the forest for the whole game and shot him as he ran up the board. By the time he managed to get near me, I had killed all but one of his warg riders, the hunter orcs and wargs. I'd killed Azog's warg, and I'd got his troll down to 1 wound. So I just blitzed it with shooting, which it felt a bit bad, really. It didn't feel like the kind of thing I would have done in a fun game, but I felt there wasn't a whole lot else for me to do there. And then we had a fight, and I think it ended with, I think he had 1 model left on the table. So I'd killed his leader, so I got the points for that, and I'd broken him without being broken, so I got the points for that. So it ended up 6-0. I would have liked to have gone and got his camp, but that just felt really unfair. So, but he played well. My dice were on fire, unlike Lee's.
His dice against me were utterly atrocious. Right.
Well,
I've never seen an Azog roll that poorly as he did in that game.
Yeah,
Between
Azog,
his Azog and his troll, they fought in, I think, 8 combats, and he won 1 of them.
Oh, damn! Right. I mean, Azog's fight 7. He should be winning all of his fights.
Yeah.
Oh, the trolls fight 7 as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear. No, his luck didn't seem to improve in my game either. Yeah. But although he was he was a gracious opponent. He was very, very gracious in loss. And we had a great time. We enjoyed it. We laughed all the way through it, and we had a good game. It was excellent.
I mean, spoilers, Ollie Martin is a double spoon winner from the 2-day of the events. So yeah. But lovely
He
guy.
was laughing and
absolutely.
smiling the whole way through, having a great time.
Yeah.
So, you know, who's the real winner?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's got 2 really nice spoons. Yeah.
Yeah. And they are really nice. The wooden spoon
Yeah.
prizes at the Worcester events are really nice because they're hand painted, aren't they?
Yeah, they're hand painted by a Tops artist. So she does Tops cards. So she paints them exclusively for Worcester War Game events, called Marsha Parkins.
Nice.
She does all of our spoons for all of our events, not just Middle Earth ones. And I think her nicest one so far has been the White City. Was a really nice one she did on the back of a spoon. And yeah, so whoever loses doesn't really lose because they get a really nicely painted spoon. And I think this one was the destruction of of Sauron's tower. So it was basically falling down. So if you ended up with both spoons, you ended up with it sequentially sort of just going downwards further.
That's pretty cool.
And he got both of them, so he's got them both together. So yeah.
So going into game 3, I won 7-1 and 8-1. I ended up accidentally on the top table, and as we all know, it's not where you want to be if you're trying to have a fun time. But actually, it was quite fun. I had Chris Evans, who was Daniel's first game opponent. So he has, like we said earlier, Suladan, Lord of Harrod, Harrod King, and the Betrayer.
Shadow Lord.
Pardon?
Shadow Lord.
Shadow Lord, that's the one. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's just because I started talking about Harrod means to go to Betrayer. The Shadow Lord. And then we were playing Clash by Moonlight. So I'm like, oh, great. My lovely, lovely bows get to ruin someone. And then I was like, oh, no, he's got the Shadow Lord. Great. But then he thought the same. She's like, oh, my lovely, lovely Harrod bows. I get to ruin. It's Clash by Moonlight. So anyway, we basically had a semi-gentleman's agreement that we were just gonna fight each other because we could have sat there and just shot each other and hope for the best. And to be honest, I'd have probably lost. So I'm quite glad we didn't do that. What we did instead was we found a nice little point between some woods and a building, and we fought in it, which actually worked really nicely for me because I had all my clansmen at the front, all my pikes behind them. Imrahil sat behind that, going, right, you're all fight 5. Have a lovely time. So where he's got all his guys up to fight 4 and Burley, I've got fight 5 and 200 weapons and fainting and all that jazz. And the war of attrition kicked in, and eventually I went out. While we were doing this fight, I casually kind of set up my Black Reveal archers 16 inches or so behind my line, just in case it all went wrong. and we both got broken pretty much the same time. So I ran Angbor as fast as I could back to my Black Veil Archers, give them Fearless because they're only like Courage 2. And then as the fighting went down, I don't know if he realized that he'd done it, but he used all of his like lots and lots of will to start casting black darts and things, and accidentally dropped the Shadow Lord down to 1 will. So I just chucked the dude into the Shadow Lord because that killed him. And then Clash by Moonlight, that gets you VPs. So by dropping the Shadow Lord right down, took that 1 will of him. Interestingly, I lost a game with Harrod at my first ever GBHL tournament. It was my first ever game. It was Clash by Moonlight, and I lost because I did the same thing with a Betrayer. I dropped him down to 1 will, and then Aragorn heroic combated off one of my dudes into the Betrayer in the final turn of the game, killed him because I lost his 1 will, and then I lost the game. So I knew I could do it, so I did it. And that ended up winning me the game. So I went 3-0, 7-1, 8-1, 7-1, I think it was in the end. 7-4 in the end, I think. Because you get lots of points of breaking people in Clash. But that was good enough to put me in 2nd place. Little trophy. Lovely little trophy. You get nice trophies at Worcester's events too.
You do?
Anyone's going.
Yeah.
We're also using the same trophy company for our events. So similar, but not the same. Hopefully.
Just a quick question. How did Chris get on with casting with the Shadow Lord in that game? Because in my game, he threw over the course of the game. Like he did in yours. He was down to 1 will, and I think he only got Black Dart off once.
He didn't,
and I don't think it winded me either.
In the final cast of Black Dart, he finally killed something with it.
Really bad luck.
Yeah, that was, and he was having problems as well because his betrayal Shadow Lord was on foot. And because there was a massive bodies between us, he actually couldn't see any of my important things. Because the Black Nominorians are quite tall.
Yeah,
the poor little Shadow Lord couldn't see through his own dudes.
Well, they've got these great big pointy hats on as well.
They do have great big pointy hats. Yeah.
That's the thing that most people don't pick up on, right? Is like, I'm gonna magic spell that guy over there halfway across the table, but you might not be able to see him. Like, you just take it as a given that, yeah, I got a line of sight, I can see him. And then you play somebody gamey like Tom, who goes, no, you can't see him, and then doesn't really cast the spell.
Well, it's like there's two things. First of all, one of it is like at the end of the day is the rules, and the other one is we're playing the top table, right? So if you can't see me, you can't see me. But so this is for reference. That's a Black Nominorian, and that's a normal dude. Like that's a shaman. They're quite tall dudes.
Yeah, they're
like
huge,
if that's your front line, they're quite hard to see over. But yeah. And there was. The Shadow Lord was behind his like 2 lines of dudes, and then I had dudes 2 lines of pike, Imra Hill and some cavalry, and Angbor and that all back there. So yeah, there was a lot. So yeah, ended up winning 3-0. Happy days, really. I could have like tried to get more VPs. Like Suladan was there. I could have tried to go for the kill on Suladan, but there's a little part of like, if you lose in that final game, like what happened to Lee, you do drop down quite a lot. So I'm there going, I'll take the win, and then we'll see what happens in the other games. And yeah, so that's that really.
Yeah.
How did your final game go, Lee?
Not well. Spoilers, I ended up drawing. But again, cracking game. Really nice bloke. Really good game. He had Thranduil's Halls. How on earth do I deal with Thranduil with the extra blade as a Hobbit player? Like,
Shoot him.
Oh, well, I did. Well, hang on a minute. So he eventually got into my lines, and it's 4 attack space plus 1 per extra dude. So I can't just surround him with dudes, with hobbits, because he's getting like 9 dice. Like, it's insane. So yeah, you're right. Shoot, and we did the usual standy offy thing with shooting, because obviously I've got throw stones as well. So they're on +1 to wound, which is like 5s by 3s, killing things like 3s to hit and 5s by 3s to wound, defense 6 lads, which is big.
That's not a bad. That's not a bad deal there, to be honest. It's because Clash by Moonlight is good for a Hobbit army, right?
It's great for me. Great
Yeah.
for me. And on the way in, eventually, I think I killed 2 guys in front of Fandor as we're doing the dance, and he went, "Yeah, fine, we're going in." So he chucked it all in. So I thought, right, I got this turn. I can either move back and shoot again with my bows, or I stand here and I'm going to fire 10 bows and I think 25 throwing stones at Thranduil. And I went, I'm going for Thranduil. And I killed the guy in front of Thranduil, and I did 1 wound, which he saved by fate. And I was like, oh dear, because now I can't move back now away from him. He's charging me next turn. There's nothing I can do about this. And at that point, it was, how do I not lose all my tiny little Hobbit heroes? Because he's got more heroes to kill, and Clash for Moonlight is about killing heroes. So I was at a disadvantage at that point. And then he had a captain that would not die. I surrounded him every single turn, and you're just like 6. And he wasn't even shielding. Like, it was just 2 dice. I'm going to roll a 6. I'm going to roll a 6. And it was brutal. And +1 to wound, man, with Thranduil. Good Lord. That is no joke. He's wounding my hobbits on 3s. And then, like, shooting me. He was hitting me on 3s, wounding me on 3s. Like, it's insane. It was so good for him. And we had a right good giggle, because there was some crazy things going on. I mean, Merry, bless his heart, charged into Thranduil and struck up. He decided not to, because he's like, you're only fight 3. I've got an Elven Blade. I rolled a 5 on my strike. I'm higher than Thranduil. I won the fight, didn't do any wounds. But, it happened, and it was hilarious. It was just really funny. So, yeah, the Hobbits, man, such good crack. But, yeah, we drew that game. I think we just broke each other, and that was it. No one ended up killing any heroes.
Oh wow!
So yeah, it was a break. Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible. Even Tariel, man, like I was wounding Tariel, I think on 5s or 4s of shooting, I can't remember. And couldn't get wounds through, but he couldn't to me either.
Just out of curiosity, how many attacks did you say Thranduil had?
4 base, because he had the sword.
That gives him 3.
I know. So you have 2 of base, and then the sword gives you another one.
Yeah.
And then doesn't it give you another one?
No.
Oh.
So Thranduil has 2 attacks.
Yeah.
And then if he's got the sword, he gets an extra attack.
Right.
And then he also gets the extra attack for everything he's in combat with.
Oh.
So he only, like, Thrandy only has 2 attacks until you give him the sword. But he feels like he should have 3, because like 100 and something points.
No, I was well aware he had 2 base, but I thought the sword in some weird way, it gives you 1, then it gives you another because of Blade Lord or something. I don't know. I don't know. I might be wrong.
It gives you 1 more for each model you're in the fight with, right?
Right, fine. Well, I mean, it's irrelevant. Like,
yeah,
but yeah, you're right. That is, if that's the case, that's the case. But yeah,
I mean, it doesn't matter now, does it? But yeah,
no. But yeah, good to know.
Yeah, he might have won.
I still was never going to chuck in like 6 hobbits surrounding it, because
no.
The chances of him rolling a 6 are incredibly high, and then he's just breaking me super quick.
Yeah, it's each model he's engaged with after the first.
Right.
But you could have gone each one he's engaged with, and therefore gives him 4 if you missed off that line or something. But yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool.
That's right. It's just looking, because I've been using Thranduil, and I thought that was, and I was like, hang on, that sounds wrong. And then, so it was either I've been doing it wrong or you've been doing it wrong, 1 or 2. So I just want to check.
No, that's fair enough.
But yeah, Daniel, how was your final game, sir?
My final game was an interesting one. It was excellent, really fun. It was excellent, but the reason it was so interesting is we both had Aragorn. We both had Anduril. So the only fitting thing to do, I think, is to have Aragorn charge into Aragorn. Both strike up, undoubtedly get 10s, and then have roll-offs for 4 turns in a row. It was excellent. It was brilliant. Eventually, so I was against Brandon, I think it's Cooper.
Brandon Cooper.
Brandon Cooper.
So he had Army of the Dead with Aragorn and the King. I think he had 4 riders as well, four mounted ones. So he was very well set up for the scenario. Didn't have any shooting though, so he just marched with his free might from Aragorn every turn. So he got right up into my face very, very quickly. And then we had an Aragorn off where we bashed Aragorns against each other for a while. It was great. It was really.
Why
really
does that
fun.
sound dirty?
It does a little bit, yeah. It does. How did that game end? I think it was 8-2 win for Brandon rather than me, unfortunately. But it was very, very good fun. And there's nothing quite like having Aragorn killing Aragorn, you know, some twisted alternate dimension.
It's funny when that kind of thing happens. It's even funnier when it happens if you're playing like good versus evil, and then Saruman kills Saruman. And it's like,
yeah, right, yeah.
Or like Gollum can kill Gollum and stuff. It's quite like interesting. Like I like when that happens as well. That's quite fun. So overall, Daniel, you finished up on.
So I had 1 win, 2 losses.
1 win, 2 losses, and Lee.
1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. Can't get any average than that.
Yeah. And over the 2 days, you played 7 games, 3 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses.
Yes.
Yeah, it's super average.
Yeah, it is. Godly, you're so average.
I'm like king average, like master at none.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, master at none.
And on Saturday, Lee won most sporting.
Yeah.
Who won it on Sunday?
Daniel won it on Sunday, which was a bit of a bane of contention. I actually had to double check and recount because you were only supposed to get if most sporting opponent, you're only supposed to get your votes from the people you play against. And I was going through it and I was like, right, okay, there's one for Daniel. There's another one for Daniel. There's a third one for Daniel. There's a fourth one for Daniel, but we're only playing 3 rounds today. So someone else who was next to his table during the course of the day thought that they were so much better. He was so much better than all of the opponents that they played during the course of the day that they voted for him. So yeah,
I'm absolutely privileged to be around.
And what's heartbreaking is that we played 2 of the same 3 people, and they both voted for you,
and not you. Yeah.
Oh no, is that actually true?
Yeah.
But then I beat both of them, so that's on me.
I think. Well, Daniel did, I think, as well. Beat both of his.
Yeah.
Did you?
No,
you lost.
I beat. Yeah, I beat.
Lost 1. Sorry.
Yeah.
I lost 2 games. So
right.
You lost to Chris, yeah.
Yeah, so I lost to Chris and to Brandon.
But then, to be fair, I did tell Chris that Shadowlord couldn't actually see me, so you can't black dart me. That's why I didn't get that vote.
So it all makes sense now. It all makes sense. I only got it because you were a bastard. Is that?
Sorry, Lian,
sorry, you go.
Do you know how many people voted for me on the Saturday? Just out of curiosity.
On the Saturday for most sporting?
Yeah.
It was because there was 3 people that were tied, and it was three people voted for you.
Right.
Yeah, because 3 people were tied for most sporting. One was a gentleman called Elliot, and there was you, and then there was I can't remember who the other one was. I think it might have been Ollie Martin, but I'm not entirely sure.
I wouldn't be surprised. He was great.
So what was the tiebreaker then? If there was 3 of us on 3.
So obviously you didn't read the rules pack, Lee, because in the rules pack it said most sporting would be the person who got the most amount of most sporting votes, and then the person who finished highest out of those people would be the one who got it, because they were the ones that were the most competitive during the day, but also still managing to keep the fun going during the course of their game.
That's exactly what I do as well when I run
And
events.
now you said that, I remember you saying that on the day.
Yeah.
Now that wasn't a plug for you to say that again. I promise. It
Yeah.
wasn't.
Boys, we need a script next time.
That's script. We don't do script here. We don't do scripts. We don't do rule books. We just make it
We
up
just
as we go
set it
along,
up,
mate.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you want like elite, high-level gamer content, go somewhere else.
For
That's not where
the
we
time
get
being.
it.
For the time being, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there. But at the time being, we're turning up, we're having fun, and we're throwing some dice around.
But, I mean, look at us, right? We got 2 best sportings. We got we got
Which
best
is
painted.
Yeah.
We got
Which
2
is-
as a group of mates, like if we include Scott and everyone else who like are our mates as well, just not here on the channel, we got 2 over the 2 days. We got 2 second places, 2 most sportings, several tied for best painted, 2 best painted ties, and Daniel got a few votes for it on his second day as well. And so
my busted up models. I put them out anyway with a little note that said, "Sorry, I dropped them,"
and still came third.
Yes.
So if you do want to come and play with all of these lovely chaps who keep getting all these most sporting votes and stuff, we're running an event in Swindon in November, although that is actually fully booked at the minute. But there's a reserve list. Jump on there in case anyone drops out. And then we've got one coming up in January, January the 14th, I think it is. I'll check. It's on Facebook. It's called the Battle for Boroughfields, because that's where our shop is. And yeah, that's going to be happening. Tickets aren't available yet, but jump on the event, and when they go up, you'll find out, and then it'll be a mad dash to get them, because that'll be exciting. And yeah, we forgot to mention Luke. Luke won.
Yeah,
Okay.
Luke won the Sunday.
Luke won Sunday. Yes, Luke, off of winning best painted on Saturday, brought a whole different army for Sunday.
Yep.
Won with it. And what was that? What did he bring? We like
Luke also came 4th on the Saturday as well, so he narrowly missed out on top 3 on the.
He's one of your top local lads in Worcester.
Yeah. Whenever I play him, I know that I'm going to get a good game, but I know I'm going to get a very hard game. So he's a great guy to test against, because whatever you put down, he's going to try and counter it. He knows all the other lists really well as well. So
really nice guy, but really good player at the same time.
Yeah, massively. Yeah. I mean, he did moan the entire game during round 2 that his army was rubbish in Storm the Camp, and all I heard was him moaning the whole game. I almost felt sorry for Scott having to play him, because of the amount of moaning that Luke did. and then he beat him. So yeah, it's like not so bad. But anyway,
that was such a narrow victory as well, though. Really,
the wargs, the wargs.
Came down to a couple of courage tests.
Yeah, he had 4 wargs in his camp, and they all failed courage.
They all ran away.
3 wargs.
Was it 3? They all ran away.
And that was
3 died.
Yeah.
They're courage 2, so you need 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need 8 on 2 dice 3 times. I mean, it's not guaranteed, but
it's not. But I can see you would expect at least 1.
Just send the Witch King with him, man. He's on a horse. He can keep up. Send the Witch King.
I mean, at this point, the Witch King was about 40 inches away, so
yeah,
it would have taken 4 turns to get there. But
he's got March, right?
Yeah,
probably had no mic points by that point.
Yeah.
Hey, what did Luke bring? Bring?
Yeah, well, you'll know the reason why he moaned so much at round 2, because Luke had Moria dwarfs. Right, yeah. So 600 points, and he spent 599 of those. He had Balin as his army leader. He had 5 dwarf warriors with shield. He had 1 with shield and banner, 3 with bow. He had 2 Khazad guards, and then he had 1 Khazad guard with a 2-handed hammer. His other warband was led by Gimli, who had 4 dwarven warriors with shield, 2 Khazad guard, and 3 dwarf rangers with bow and throwing axes. And then his last warband, he had a dwarf king with a throwing axe, 4 dwarf warriors with shields, and 5 dwarf rangers with throwing axes. He loves his throwing axes.
Just a single throwing axe on a dwarf king, yeah, just one time.
Yeah, just one.
Yeah,
You can't
just
throw
one
it more than
throwing axe.
once.
Nice.
There's it's not unlimited throwing axes anymore.
Just once. No, to be fair, mate, throwing weapons are great.
Yeah,
we love throwing weapons.
Yeah.
There's a reason
Especially-
Corsairs are really good.
Yeah, especially in the Clash by Moonlight, which is probably a big contributor to him coming first, because that
He
would have been
got he was on the table next to me, so I was on table 1 and he was on table 2. And I was looking over his game. So he was playing against LSR and Hobbits.
Okay,
And basically I looked at that and was like, so if LSR can win and get into some of those heroes, he's having a great time. Looked over like turn 3, LSR was dead. I was like, oh, okay, right.
Yep, cool.
Good.
Yep, have fun, guys.
That's gone well. And at that point, I was like, well, I mean, Luke's won this, let's be honest. So unless so I just was like, oh, let's take the win. But yeah, throwing weapons really good.
Who knew?
Lee, you love dwarfs. Anything interesting in there?
Got my Grim Hammers here now. Yeah, solid list. Got everything you need, got everything you want. Can't moan about it. Got bodies, high defense. Yeah.
Top quality, elite list edition breakdowns right here.
I'm surprised we did so well at Storm the Camp, honestly. I am surprised. Even with a 2-hour time limit. Yeah. I feel like
so when
I feel like
no, you go. Sorry, you talk first. Stop talking.
No, I was just say I think like if Scott may have done what you said earlier on about engaging in the middle of the field rather than in his own camp. I think it would have changed the game. So I'm not taking anything away from Luke winning, but I feel like if Scott played that game slightly different, it probably would have been nearly unwinnable.
Yeah.
Because it is a really, really, really bad mission for dwarfs, and for him to
Yep.
pull out the win there is incredible.
That is exactly what I was going to say, basically.
Cannot be understated how big of a win that is for him. So he did very well. He did very well to win that.
Yeah.
I reckon you take something like Gullivar and half but one of your orcs and some spectres and some barrow-wights, and you go up to the middle of a table and you start paralyzing heroes and moving models back with the spectres and Gullivar throwing stuff around. Just barge him 3 inches back just to be annoying.
You can do that, can't you? Just move his models further away.
Yeah, just move his models around, like just generally have a great time.
Yeah.
And then you've got your wargs that you can throw up into the end, which you did. But
I mean, again, it's been a long weekend at that point.
Yeah.
Scott might have had fatigue, and I'm sure he might be looking back at it and know he did some things and he could have changed. So not having a dig at Scott.
It's not having a dig. It's a constructive, like, next time, mate, give it a go.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about it in the car on the way back, so
Exactly.
like have a little look at it and see. Because I mean, I tried it against Dane and his dwarfs, and it worked out all right. Because that's the other thing you can do. You only need one model in their camp, so you've got Gullivar. You kind of go, well, he's within 10, 12 inches of the camp. I'm just going to heroic combat last turn, and bam, I'm in. Done.
Yeah.
Or the Witch King with a crown on a horse. You can just
But yes,
heroic combat, bang.
very strong dwarf list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, nice one. Cool. So I think that's just about everything we needed to cover. We had a lovely time. Thank you for hosting, Lian.
No, you're welcome. It was fun to do.
Hopefully we'll see you again. When's the next one again? Remind everyone at home.
So the 12th and the 13th of February is what we've provisionally got in. So we're going to set that in stone this week, and then we'll put it up. I know there was a lot of people who were interested in coming to the next one.
And is there a way we can find your events easier next time?
Probably not. No, to be fair, I normally share them up on, if you're part of any of the Lord of the Rings or MESBG Facebook groups, I normally tend to share them all up on there. Or if not, then if you find me on Facebook, which is Lian Smith, then I normally share them on my own Facebook page as well. So you're more than welcome to be able to look for those. there. But yeah, hopefully over the course of either this week or next week, I'll be putting the event up. So keep an eye on the MESBG pages. They'll be on there.
And then we've got ours in November and then in January as well. So if you want some more events, come find us. They'll be on the Atomic Cards Facebook page. So join that if you haven't already. We'll keep up to date with all the events and things, and go to the shop and buy stuff. Got a lovely website. Check it out. And other than that, if you like listening to us talk about stuff, make sure you like it and tell YouTube, like it, subscribe to it, go in the comments and go, oh, I'm surprised that Tom did that well. He's normally rubbish. And don't forget, Lee, what's your favourite bit?
Ring that bell.
What does that mean?
The little notification, click the bell, and then you'll get notifications whenever.
Oh, yeah. Okay, right. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to do that in just a second, I think.
Right,
I can't tell
Thank you
people
guys,
to do it if I haven't.
We'll catch you all next time. Bye.
See you later. Bye.